Good morning, everyone that's signing on, and you're coming in fast and furious now. Welcome to I guess it's the 15th annual celebration, annual dinner. PNDC has taken one day out of our year to sort of celebrate all the work that we've done throughout the past year and our members, and had a nice little event, and this will be no different, except for we'll be virtual. I hope that everyone is able to navigate around the platform easily. This is a new platform for PNDC, so if you're having angst or something's not going right, I'm going to give you an email address. It is events, EVENTS @pndc.us. We've got someone working tirelessly behind that email address to fix every problem that you can come up with. There's also a visitors or an exhibitor tab. I would encourage you throughout the day to go visit some of our sponsors and such. They have booths. Some of them will be manned and some will just be static or have videos inside of them, but it's worth taking a look at nonetheless, and I would encourage you to do that. PNDC has a booth, and I will be there personally from 12:30 for about an hour. So if you want to come and tell me something, a joke or something like that, that'd be great. Under the people tab, you can see who else is with us today, and I would encourage you to do that as well, particularly if it's somebody you might want to chat with and get to know a little bit better. And you're going to click on the schedule tab or the agenda to pop into each of the breakout rooms going forward, including at the end of this event, which will end about 10:29. I promise Carly that will happen. So what this room is about is we realized as business development sales professionals that transitioning from doing things in person to going into the virtual space has been hard for us. We like to talk to people. We like to shake hands. Some of that stuff we just can't do anymore. So we've gathered three of the best. There are many best, but these are the three of them that will be helping us on this panel today. And I'm going to just turn it over. I'm going to start with Tyler. Just give us a quick rundown. Wait, before I do that, you're going to see a poll pop up, and that's a poll that you're going to direct this conversation. So there are three topics. You're going to pick the one you want to hear from first. So if we run out of time, it'll be the most popular one that we cover. Starting with you, Tyler, tell us a little about what's going on at Grove Tech.
Yeah, I'll keep it simple because I'm pretty excited about the interactive participation on this event. So my name's Tyler Grover. I'm the sales and marketing manager of Grove Tech Machining. We're a precision machine shop with our own product line of sporting goods. And we've been here before. We were caught with all of our eggs in one basket back in 2013. One industry, that's all we did. And we had to shift. And we learned back then that the world is going to evolve, and if you want to stick around for the long term, you got to evolve with it. And so that's what we've been spending the last 6 to 8 months really trying to do, is digitize all of our selling, all of our networking, really come up with a content marketing approach and how to drive business through social media on a B2B avenue. And so I'm glad to be here. Next panelist, and we'll get going.
Yeah, I think that's me. Yeah, Brian Trumbull from Out of the Box Manufacturing. We're an electronic contract manufacturer located in Renton, Washington. We specialize in prototypes as well as volume production. I think our niche is quick turn prototypes. We'll do that very fast. We're AS 9100, 1345 for medical and ITAR registered. Yeah, we're shifting gears too. Our management has helped us point ourselves in the right direction as far as marketing on social media as well, and we've been doing a lot of virtual tours, which seems to have been very beneficial.
All right, we should have Mitch. I think you're next.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Mitch Zdock from Northwest Sign Design. We're a very inclusive sign design company that has been around since '93. like everyone else, we've had to, re-examine who some of our best customers are, and then look at new pathways to growth there. And we've had some success doing that.
Okay, well, does everybody see the poll? I don't see it. So does anybody else see it?
The poll question's on the Pathable.
Yeah, so it's on your Pathable, within your Pathable page, for those of you who are participating. Next to your chat tab is the poll tab. And if, Denise, would you like folks at this time to cast their vote?
Yes.
Excellent.
So go ahead.
Yep, so those that are within Pathable, if you all will vote right now and what you want to hear, you have 3 options. A, B, or C. If you could please take that poll now, that would be greatly appreciated.
And you got to do it quick because we got a short time frame here.
Okay, so right now we're tied 33, 33, 33. All subjects have equal importance to everyone who's on here.
Wow.
Well, great. Well, that's great. Since I'm the tiebreaker, I'm going to do where I want to start. I do want to tell you folks that this is your meeting. So I have some set questions that I'm going to throw away if you put questions in the chat panel that Carly's going to do. And my dad used to call this playing what if. So we're going to play a rousing game of what if. And if you have things you're dealing with that you think that this communal experts will be able to help you with, put them in the chat. Let's talk about them. And I'm going to start with Tyler because one of the poll questions was about increasing network success. And I'd like you guys to discuss what's step one. What is step one?
Yeah. So how do you increase your networking success? And so for us, the sales triggers have always been the sales trigger, no matter what goes on in the world. And so everybody is, let me put that in context. A sales trigger for us, being a B2B service business, would be maybe a prime company gets funding. You hear about it in the news. And so that's an opportunity for us to sell. Or a purchasing manager, supply chain manager, or somebody, a decision maker moves to a new company. That's a sales trigger. That's an opportunity for us to go out and sell. And so that will never change. Those sales triggers are always things that we're looking for. And that's going to basically tell us where we need to spend our time. And on the contract side of things, you're really up and down no matter what's going on, whether it's in a politically driven sector or if it's more flatlined approach. And so for us, networking success has been huge. We have a small group of outside sales reps that we've partnered with, and we're trying to meet monthly, if not every other month, and discuss what we're seeing out there. And so we have some partnerships, some great partnerships where we're able to get some insider knowledge on other industries where we don't play a lot. And then also about companies who are maybe evolving, acquiring a company, or people are jumping around, maybe purchasing managers are jumping around. So it's a good opportunity to get the foot in the door. And so we hear about those things just through our network referrals, partners, PICs. And so, yeah. So.
Brian, Mitch, do you want to make a comment on that?
Yeah, I'll go next. Yeah, I agree with what Tyler was saying. We've been, since I've been in sales since 2008. It's all about networking. And I met my counterpart that I work with, Mike Lopez. He was big in networking as well. We shared the same ideas and the same values. So one thing he did, and he kind of taught me, was he put together a breakfast club. So go out and find the folks that are in your industry. Maybe they're suppliers to you. Maybe they're out of your industry, but they can help support you in some way. The more people you talk to about your business, the more people are going to repeat your business. So We're also doing it here, right? This is an organization. We spend a lot of time with organizations networking and staying in front of people. And like Tyler said, people are on the move. When they're on the move, they might be looking for new opportunities, new suppliers.
Do you have anything to add, or?
Yeah, to tag off of what Tyler said, be vigilant on LinkedIn, build your network, and selflessly help others, because that will come back and pay dividends. And by building your network on LinkedIn, to play off of Tyler's note there, when somebody moves from one company to another, you'll be told about that. Also, find a group of people that are also in sales that might be in non-competing industries. And if you can't find, if you want to build your own referral network beyond some of the more obvious deals, create your own referral group. And like within the PNDC, that'd be one place to start, because we all are common goal here, our common thread is membership in the PNDC. So that's a great place to start.
Okay.
I always tell my team it pays to give a shit. If you can help other people, whether you're directly transacting with them or not, it comes around tenfold. So that whole giving without expectation is huge.
I'm not sure I understand actually what you're referring to. Do you have an example of what you're talking about for the group? And I want to remind everybody, please put your questions and your what ifs in the chat.
Yes. So I run into it a lot, and it's actually trained for salespeople and business development people to don't waste time connecting at networking events with people who aren't a perfect lead to you. And I think that's completely wrong. I think if you're looking to help other people in the room, it'll come back around. And so that whole giving without expectation is what I'm talking about. I'm willing to meet, with bankers, business developers, software people, because you never know what their connections look like. Their wife or husband might be the owner of some business who's a perfect prime contract for you. You just never know. And the world is a funny thing, The more you give, the more you get. There's a funny way of how it works. And so I always tell my crew, spend the time, get to know people, and build those relationships, whether you're directly transacting or not. And most of the time, it'll come around.
Guys, I have a question from the group. It's Rose Marshall is asking, do you use the PNDC directory, and I suppose by extension any other organization's directory, to find contacts that might be new to you? And she's saying finding new people seems like a challenge instead of just going back to the known contact list. Mitch, you want to tackle that first?
Yes, I definitely use the PNDC link, and then there's a number of other resources that I've ferreted out too to help drive sales for our business.
Anybody else?
Yeah. You and I have talked about companies, right? Actually, Kate as well, and to kind of mesh the two conversations together. What Tyler was saying about, just don't be in it for yourself, basically. Some of the leads that I may have gotten from other organizations may not have been a good fit for me. What do I do with them? Do I throw them in the trash, or do I find somebody else to hand them off to? And I think that to be a good solutions person, you're doing two people a favor. You're finding a solution for the customer that's looking for a supplier, and you're doing a favor for somebody who's looking for some business. So one quick tidbit was when I first started working it out of the box, I learned pretty quickly that, there is value in talking to people that are in insurance and bankers and things like that, because one of our larger accounts was referred to us by a banker from an organization. So absolutely right. Everybody you talk to is in your network, right? You can focus on people that are in your industry, but you're doing yourself a disservice not to talk to anybody about your company.
Okay, I have another question, but I have a couple of book recommendations. One comes from Brad Buchholz. I think he's with Banner Bank. It's the book Give and Take by Adam Grant. He supports actually what Tyler just said, Tyler and the panel just said. And then Go Giver series from Rose Marshall. That was her recommendation. So Also, and this is a good question for the panel. What are your sales buy triggers? That comes from Jerry Leishman at Cortac Group. How do you get the initial meeting with your customers or prospects? Anybody?
Well, I think before COVID, right, I focused on trying to get face-to-face meetings. I mean, that's the big thing. To step back even farther than that, cold calling. Cold calling can be kind of a four-letter word, but I don't tend to do a lot of cold calling because I do a lot of networking. When I do a lot of networking, there are a lot of opportunities out there. You're still going to have to cold call, but if you have a good network, that should lend yourself to a good pipeline. And so always have that pipeline and always be touching those people. And pretty soon it's gonna pay off.
I think the question is more about what are you listening for when you're talking to somebody on a Zoom call or whatever that says there might be a potential customer for me. I think that's the spirit of that question. Tyler, do you want to take that on or?
Yeah, so like for us, sales triggers are like people on the move. The Portland Business Journal always has a little verbiage of like people who are moving jobs or just joined a team. It's Prime's articles, maybe Raytheon or somebody just got a huge contract awarded to them, so they got funding. It's all those kinds of sales triggers, but a lot to what Brian just said. Having a group of people that you can rely on, that you stay connected with on a regular basis, that keeps you busy enough just by bouncing ideas off of each other and getting those warm referrals. So a lot of times, like we've grown organically just over the years because people have moved jobs and they've taken us with or with them. And so a lot of times that's how we're organically growing. In times right now, if you're caught in, like we were with all your eggs in one basket, I would say, you got to really differentiate yourself from your competitors. And so how do people get familiar with your brand and familiar with your face? And there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. A lot of people are sticking to like MailChimp campaigns where they're bulk emailing people, and that's not personable enough. And I think everybody right now is trying to get those personal touches. And so one way that we've been able to be successful prospecting new clients is actually sending right in the LinkedIn app video introductions while we're walking through our shop. A simple 15 to 30 second intro on who I am, who the company is, and you can film it right in the LinkedIn app. And then it gives people familiarity of what your face is. They hear your voice. They can see what's going on in the background. And then it's more of a warm intro to maybe it'd be worth having that conversation via Zoom to disqualify and qualify, just see if there's some synergy that might be here. And so that's been really successful for us throughout the COVID process.
Okay, and I got another question from the group, and it's from Stu Lowndes, and I'm going to ask you first, Mitch. It's the question is how, when you can't do face-to-face and people working at home, how are the folks on this panel breaking through these barriers? So I think that's an excellent question.
Driven me all along is the common denominator that no one, including all of us on the panel, don't want to be sold to. And so I've adapted the adage, solve a problem and then get the sale. And so with today's, take advantage of the information that's in front of us here via make a highly researched targeted sales call and then reach out to the person that is most appropriate for your business. And after you research what's going on in their company, you can make some specialized notifications, or you send that initial email. You want to write a note that you yourself would not delete. So you got to have a good subject matter in there that's going to make them think, and then have a brief sentence or two to pique their interest. You don't want to sell them on the first go round. You're not going to, but if you can get them to talk to you, that's where it goes.
Brian?
Well, yeah, we've, like I said, if you have a strong enough pipeline, then, what we've been doing, and I, to be honest, I wasn't too crazy about it, but virtual tours. And so we've started doing virtual tours, and what I've noticed is those virtual tours that have some pretty good value. We've actually signed up 2 customers during COVID, well, more than 2, but I think the selling point was probably through the virtual tours. When people are on a virtual tour, if you can get them in there, you have them, right? It's almost like you being in the same room. They're not going to go anywhere because they're taking the time. They blocked out that time to talk to you. If you don't, some people don't have that advantage maybe because they don't have something tangible to show or a shop floor. Maybe they're a rep, but at least maybe do a short video, post it on YouTube, and then send people the link, and then follow up with them and see if they had any questions. Those kind of things.
Okay, so you're saying that in the absence of face-to-face, a video is the best way to do it. Tyler, you do that a lot, and I have a question here asking if you and the other panelists see the videos as a beneficial medium, and I think you guys already answered that. But if you want to add more, please do.
Yeah, I think 2021, you'll see a bunch of small businesses putting a lot more content out. And so it's going to be more competitive to stand out from the crowd, especially on LinkedIn. Right now, I think it's a golden opportunity to get started on LinkedIn. And then the people that are going to stand out are the people that are actually consistent with it. And so that's the hard part. It's really easy to make one video, that displays what your company does. But that ongoing output where it's actual valuable content or interesting to people is going to differentiate the people who are really growing business and revenue compared to the other people that are, just trying. So.
Yeah, in our last few minutes, I want to change gears a little bit and talk about social media, because that was one of the things we thought we might discuss. So what platforms and why? I mean, just if you could be brief, because we don't have very much time left. I'll start with you, Brian.
Yeah, LinkedIn, of course, you mentioned that. Facebook, personally, I do not do Facebook. I promised myself I would never do that until the day I die. So I won't, but, the company, I believe, has a Facebook account. But yeah, it's just keeping in touch, like Tyler said. The more you do that, the more visibility you're going to get, and of course, people can share those videos and those statements, and it's just it's a huge network on yourself. That's kind of what I'm doing.
Tyler?
Yeah, for us, we originally viewed social media as a way to brand. And so we spent some time trying to learn the platforms and attract employees. And so a lot of the times we're actually getting our new employees via social media, and that's what we mainly use social media for. During COVID, we were actively DMing a lot of small businesses, and we actually found in the revenue of like maybe 20 million in yearly sales or smaller, a lot of the smaller companies are actually very responsive via Instagram on Instagram DMs. And then LinkedIn, I mean, that's a powerhouse, right? And so we were talking about cold calling earlier. And the great thing about LinkedIn is there's no gatekeeper. You're literally, if you're connected with the person or you can get an introduction from somebody else into the person, there is no gatekeeper. And so whatever you send them, you have a high percentage of them seeing. And so there's like 2 avenues that we use social media. Mainly Facebook and Instagram is for awareness, career opportunities, networking, and more of a branding piece to attract employees. LinkedIn and somewhat a little bit on Instagram has been a way that we can increase our revenue. And so that's been successful for us.
I think one of the things that attracted me to Tyler's style is at every one of our events, the first thing he does is puts his LinkedIn link inside the chat box. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's a really great thing to do because it takes very little. I have a question here from Andrew Larson from Nycote. He wants to know your take on how do you get in front of engineers who typically don't go to networking events or take phone calls? What do you use?
LinkedIn, video introducing yourself. The win ratio and the people that are actually seeing my videos is crazy. If I needed to prospect business or connect with people, that's the way I would do it, number one.
Okay, well, unfortunately, this was a really, really short panel and designed to get you guys warmed up for what looks to be a great day. I'm going to make sure you understand when you leave this room, you're going to hit the schedule tab or agenda to hear the next session. And it's includes Ellen Lord, Undersecretary, Department of Defense. You'll also hear from Jay Schmidt, the chairman of our board, and Bryce Barrett, the incoming chairman of our board. Don't forget to visit those visitors, and there's a ton of breakout sessions within this, including but not limited to the Homeland Security at 2:30 in the afternoon. Thanks a lot. Save your chat, and I'm going to send you out of here. You're going to leave this section. Carly, tell them exactly what they need to do to get into the next session.
Well, you just covered it beautifully. So, yeah, I know. Applause to you, Miss Denise. So I'm going to be closing out of this meeting here in just a moment. I do want to give you guys the chance to save your chat if you were in here. And so when you are kicked out, you will be in your Pathables homepage, and you will simply go to the agenda tab and click on the morning keynote and presentations, which begins promptly at 10:30. So any other comments or questions? I'll give you all a chance to save your chat.
Okay, I just want to thank my panelists. These guys really are helping me out, and I think it was great. A little bit short, but we're working with maybe doing this again, and maybe I'll be calling some of you to sit on a panel. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day, and go out and make some friends.
All right, thanks.